Hello everyone, welcome to Constant Calibrating's coverage of PAX West 2017. It is the end of day one. Our bodies are dead.
Yes.
I don't know why, it's seriously only day one. But welcome to our lovely hotel room, which for once we may actually have decently lit videos because there's a gigantic window behind you, the audience. Mm-hmm. And sadly we do not have a web around on hand, so you get to view our beds. So, interesting. A little product placement there. So anyways, PAX West day one's behind us. We're just something a little different with our unfiltered coverage. Usually unfiltered coverage is we just ramble on and on and on about every last little thing we did. We're going to try to structure a little more, especially since we cannot put these out on the day of. We don't have an editing computer with us. So, we're just going to talk about a few highlights of the experience. First off, Justin, you wandered off before our first appointment, and you went to check out Sea of Thieves.
I did. First of all, I'm going to say I did go play NAC 2.
You did go play NAC 2.
Not bad. I'm going to put that out there. Co-op looks awesome in that too. But anyways, give NAC another chance. That's all I'm saying.
Hashtag give NAC a chance.
Give NAC a chance. But yeah, I went to go play Sea of Thieves. When we went there, like we tried to play it when we first got in, but like all the devs are on the systems. Mm-hmm. But the reason why is because like you need a full group to play that game, which is probably kind of the downfall right there. Because they had like 4 different stations, mm-hmm. 4 people each. That was pretty much a ship per. So like each group of 4 was a ship.
Gotcha.
And it was a open section of the map. I guess I don't know how big the final map's going to be, but like it was pretty large. It took us some time to get to place, and they started off with a quest. Like mm-hmm. It said, "Hey, check your inventory. You should have a little scroll in there. Tells you where hey, you got this thing, shiny thing at this location," like or just the name of it, not point you in direction. Then you gotta go look at your table, figure out where it's at, and start navigating.
Okay.
So I was captaining with this ship, or I don't even know if that's the correct term because I was just steering it. I don't know if that's quite captain or not.
Navigator. I mean,
helmsman.
We
actually had someone like giving us nautical terms while we were playing it. It's like I couldn't see anything because like the sails were down. So someone went up to the crow's nest to actually tell me where to go.
Oh, so it's like it's literally to the point that you 100% have to be cooperative.
Yeah.
That would explain why Brian, when he was discussing the game, was like, you control people so well in this game.
Yes. Like even the sails, like there's different ones that you can like pull down, pull up. One person has to go like individually to each of them to do it. So they kind of lift my sail a little bit so I could see. It was interesting. I had one of our guys get drunk and start playing his instrument. When you get drunk, you can't really play your instrument anymore, so it's just weird noise hopping in my right ear. But it was kind of cool. We tried to make our way to the island, and on the way, we actually ran into another players, one of the groups there, and we started fighting.
Sure, as one does.
Oh, I'm just going to say that. Like, they started taking on water. They actually, like, veered off. We weren't able to finish them because we were actually trying to get to the island. But they finally left us alone, and like, screw it, we're going to try to make it. Got it there, and I'm mostly, again, piloting the ship for the most part. And we got to the island at the end. Then we had players trying to shoot us from the island, like, not in their ship, like, just...
With just guns, or...
Yeah, and then they tried to swim and try to get us. That didn't work. They both died. And then after that, we're like, screw it, let's all just jump and get on the island. Let's just try to find this treasure. And that's when the demo ended, because it was only 30 minutes.
Still, it sounds like a really cool experience. So, I mean... That being said, you talk about the downfalls of Sea of Thieves being that you require a full group for it.
You do require a full group. That's the problem.
But was it still enjoyable what you were able to do?
I did. As long as it takes time to get places. Like, that ship does not turn on a dime. I mean, you can drop the anchor to turn it to. Like, you know, if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean too much or something like that. That works. Like, someone did drop the anchor while we were trying to position herself on the island. It just immediately like spun us around.
So it's just old sea drifting.
Yeah, pretty much. So it takes time, and you got to really sail. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I want to play more with it. I wish we had like a guaranteed group that would play it. I'd pick it up, but just because I don't know how I feel about this title.
Yeah, that's the question. It's like with that game, it seems like do you have a group to play with? If not,
you need a group that communicates too. Now, not only do you need a group to play together, you need a group that communicates.
Well, that's not constant calibrating.
Oh, by communicate, everybody has a mic and everybody actually talks to each other.
I get you. Well, I mean, sounds cool. So after that, I mean, we did a few things, but we went to a Square Enix, and I got to try a few different games. So just a little gaming credibility loss. I've never played Secrets of Mana. but I got to play the I guess the remastered of it, and it's good looking. Voice acting's really good in it, and I mean, there's not really much more to say. From what I discussed with people who have played it, it's a remaster of the game. It's very faithful to it.
Yep.
It's just extremely pretty.
Extremely pretty. Used pretty good because I got them 2 busted stations that I guess the pass-through wasn't working right for the headphones. So all I heard is like a blast of music. I could barely hear the sound effects. That wasn't the game. That was just whatever they were using.
Gotcha.
They fixed it on one station. I think they fixed it on the other 2.
So we both played Lost Sphear. You played this Nintendo Switch version, and
yes.
I played PS4. What'd you think of that? Because that's, if I'm correct, that's a newer game they're putting up, but based on old style of game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a JRPG on your Switch.
Yeah,
which is awesome. So if you're looking for that, something like a fan of old stuff, or that type of style RPG, it's right at home.
Yeah, and it's very heavy on positioning in combat and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when you get in combat, you can actually move your characters around before you attack, which is, if you're melee, you got to get right up on them. But if you're shooting, the one character had a bow, you can actually line up targets and shoot through all of them.
Yeah, different characters have different targeting kind of radii and different stylizations of it. So it was cool. The demo, that one was a Secret of Mana, you had to stop playing after the first boss, which again, I've never played the game, so I didn't know what the first boss was, so I just kept playing for a little while before they yelled at me. But Lost Sphear, it was apparently the demo was extremely long. I got to the point where I'm just I need to explore other games, and we're running low on time. So it took a very long. I just wanted to see combat. It took a very long time to get. Yeah,
because they had a start at the start of it.
Yeah,
at least I assume it's the start of it.
Presumably.
But yeah, it's hard to demo an RPG, especially JRPG. Mm-hmm. From the start, which I had to do with Final Fantasy 15 as well last year. Because, it takes time to get anywhere. You got to get through all the introductions and stuff like that. But from what I played, it plays very much if you're a fan of just older JRPGs, it's, again, right one on the Switch. You can take it with you, but they're also coming out on all other consoles as well.
Mm-hmm. We have another game that I literally can't say anything else. It's under NDA. We may do a separate just video for it because that'll be September 26th, I believe. Don't know if we actually will do one. I'd like to. I might. I'd like to do something.
But for now, embargo.
Embargo. Yar. And then otherwise, Final Fantasy 15 PC. Just quickly.
Worried. I don't know if it was the PC, which it could very well be the PC that is running on.
It looked so stuttered whenever I looked over.
It has some frame rate issues.
So here's the thing, though. When you played Final Fantasy 15 last year, it did not play well at PAX West last year, because certainly in comparison to what the final release product was. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if this is just a case where just Square's stuff they demo, just particularly related to Final Fantasy 15, it just doesn't demo well.
It doesn't demo well. And again, I'm not sure if they're used to the equipment they brought with them, or if that stuff was sponsored there, because they had a big advertisements hey, play on this. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the system wasn't up to par to run it. But yeah, it was stuttering a lot. One thing I did notice, the shadows had better anti-aliasing or something. They look a lot smoother, but there still is better draw distance, but you still see stuff pop up in front of you, especially shadows. So not a big jump up from consoles from what I've seen, but I'm not sure how they were running it. I'm not sure what settings. I'm not sure what rig they were running, the specs of the rig they're running on. And I know they have different, I think up to 8K textures or something like that. That's why it's 170 gigs to install.
That's insane.
So it probably is very pretty. Probably runs very well if you have the system run it. But from what I played, I'm getting worried.
I don't know. It sounds like, from what you said in a couple of the comments I heard, it sounds like a case of I didn't get to play the game because I don't have the consoles, but I play on PC.
Yeah. So
I'm going to get it on PC. So hopefully it at least bare minimum measures up to the consoles. But
it should, but hopefully adjustable. So
hopefully so.
But Square, on PC, really don't have that many options. So at least from what I played from Final Fantasy 13 and stuff. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. Otherwise, I tried a game called Dunk Lords that was a lot of fun. Dunk Lords. It's a one-man project, and it is a basketball game kind of in the similar vein to NBA Jam 2v2. You get more points by dunking. Every 10. Which essentially you run up to the hoop, played on Xbox One controller, you run up to the hoop and you hit X and I believe right trigger, and you'll do a flashy dunk kind of thing.
Ooh.
You can also shoot normally, which there's like a meter involved with it, but people can steal a ball from you during that.
Oh, you said shoot, like it's like with a gun, but you can actually do that while you're playing too, right?
There are characters who have guns, so it's very arcade-ish in that regard. But like for instance, when people are running up to like what happened when the one time I successfully dunked, I went to dunk and as I was coming down, a guy uppercutted me, and literally punched me in the face, punched the ball up in the air, caught the ball. Then he got uppercutted by a member of my team, my teammate, who in the air then redunked the damn ball. And it was a really cool fucking sequence of events, let me tell you. Game was a lot of fun, really quick pace. Every time you score, your team gets money, depending on how well you score, and then you could buy upgrades. They could be things like boots that give you 3 points for doing dunks. Or gloves, I think there was like maybe it was a jersey, I forget exactly what it was, that pushed people back. But there's special moves like a strawberry that summons a jar of jam to encase their opponents in. So it's local multiplayer for 4 people, and then it also has a single player story mode, which may have a co-opable, I believe thing he said, but that's a possibility. Again, it's a one-man project, but really cool art design, and I don't know, for someone who doesn't really like basketball like myself, I'm always drawn to basketball games, particularly the arcadey ones.
Okay.
So it's fun. From there, I checked out Frostpunk from 11-Bit Studios. You may know the developers of it. They did This War of Mine, which you may know as arguably the most depressing fucking game ever made, or very up there. But really cool experience. So Frostpunk, it's the end of the 19th century. Cataclysm hits the world, all frozen over. You form a gigantic generator, the last of society, and you build out from there. So it's a city builder, and it's a circular built city builder. Everything's built on a circular, I was going to say a circular grid, but that grid doesn't really make sense, but still that kind of system, building out where roads are like just trenches in the snow. But it's a city builder survival game, so you send your people off. You don't individually click them. You click on, you want them to harvest lumber. You click on the lumber. You see how many people you want to send, or you can just max it out and you send them. There's research trees to do things like discover the sawmill, which allows you to harvest frozen wood versus just like ripping up crates. There's something for better coal mining, stuff like that. That's just like the first tier. There's also laws. Every 12 hours, you can enact a law. The laws can be, for instance, do you want child labor or do you want a child shelter? Child shelter will, one, require you to build a shelter. Like once you do it, you actually have a deadline. You have to build a shelter. Or you get child labor, which is what I chose to do, and means you can send kids off to work. You go that route, you can even, they can only work in safe jobs. You can actually put in another law on that branch that will then actually make it that they can work any job. So you can, this game can get really twisted. There's a hope meter and a, what was it called? Not the spare, but, there's 2 meters essentially, and if essentially the sad side gets too high, you're fucked. If the hope side gets too low, you're fucked. Because you're trying to preserve civilization, so all of your choices in these laws will factor in on that.
It just sounds like you're fucked in this game.
It really is. It kind of is. It's they're trying to give a realistic look. It's a steampunky, but they try to look at like what laws would have been effective in the 19th century, what stuff made sense, and what would happen if a cataclysm hit during that time. What would people have to do to survive? It is a lot of fun if you like city builders, and if you like a city builder game with a survival edge to it, it's awesome. If not for another appointment, I almost had to be dragged away. It was such a good time, and I will be playing that, and I will be streaming that because it is too cool. Awesome. Of a content, and it's gorgeous too.
Cool. What I get check out Children of Morta next.
Children of Morta.
Really interesting roguelike hack and slash kind of RPG. The interesting part about this though, it's like first of all, like the setting's awesome. The art style of it's beautiful. Music's good, sound effects are good. 2 players as well.
It is 2-player, okay.
It is 2-player co-op.
This was the weird case where I booked an appointment, and I then this morning was like looking it over, and I'm like, I don't remember watching the trailer. I think it was a case where I read of one feature, and I'm like, okay, cool, sold. And booked an appointment, and But it's okay. It's a 2-player.
Yep. So the roguelike element is like you do go through dungeons. You can pick. Oh, I guess I should go kind of about the thing too. Like a whole lot of stuff's happening. There's a lot of information thrown at me, so I don't remember the story. But it's like a place with gods and stuff like that. And basically, this family is like charged with like kind of like protecting this pass. Each level has like a theme to it. Like there's one that's kind of like just straight underground and stuff like that. There's a desert one where there's like slavery and you actually go free some slaves and stuff. But the roguelike part is if you do die in the level, you do restart the level. And if you picked up any power-ups, you kind of got to get them again. But you get to keep your level experience. And the other thing that happens too, there's certain items and random events. Because most of the dungeons are procedurally generated. Like if you say happen to pick up like this rune stone, you take it back. And within this family, like there's other people in there. Like one of your uncles will actually like look at it and be like, this is interesting. Like if you bring some stuff back, like you get cutscenes that explain. Then you like notice like he wants to work on something, and then if you look after the cutscene, like you'll see he started building like a machine. So like as you're going through these levels and getting items and progressing, like you kind of like see the effect around your family, because like your base is kind of like your household.
Gotcha.
Like for instance, you find a dog, and then all of a sudden the dog's like sitting right there. And then you get a quest to actually, like, a dog's sick. You gotta go find, like, certain herbs and stuff like that. So it's going to be sick until you, like, get there. You can actually heal that dog. He gets happy, and then, like, the uncle likes to make stuff. He'll, like, go outside and make a dog house. So there's, like, stuff like that will happen every time you go back to the house. So if you like this thing, like, you are venturing, but you actually see, like, it affects something, like, that's kind of what they do with this.
It's really cool. Like, I mean, it just sounds like a really interesting mechanic and something that offers just a lot of replayability to it as well,
yeah.
or at least playability moving forward, because the changing nature of the world.
Yep. And then while you're going through, like different characters have different abilities. I played through most of them too. It's kind of like as you expect with a hack and slash. There's one attack button, there's a special ability button, there's a jump button, but some like characters, like there's a martial artist, like he gets like jump flip and like down kick if you like roll twice. You can get special items like potions that like kind of recharge every time instead of just going through your stock, taking like special items there. You can get special runes, but you can only hold the one at a time, but like the runes will affect something of one of your abilities. Like if you hit the guy with the shield, which I think is the father, that's the thing, like every character's a family member of this group. Like you can get one that like blocking completely negates damage, or one that like when he blocks, you can do like an up area attack.
Gotcha.
But that's where it gets kind of tough, and you got to manage your character. Like you can only carry one with you, so like when you see them drop, you're like, God, which one do I want? And like I had the monk character, like he was I had like regenerative health. I had another move that charged health, so I actually got a guy that was pretty like good, and I was like, oh man, I definitely don't want to lose him. So that's where the rogue like kind of like kicks in, and that's where you kind of don't want to die. But like, so when you lose all your stuff.
It's really awesome.
All the stuff, items, I guess.
What is it on? Do you remember?
I missed that part.
Yeah, okay.
I know right now, definitely PC.
Definitely PC. Okay.
I'll have to check the other stuff, though.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't watch Unfiltered stuff for PAX and stuff, we'll usually do the Unfiltered stuff every day, and then sometime after the event, Justin and I will record the focus game stuff. So maybe that one will be one of them. Who knows? I can't say for certain. It's just our games of show, as it were. So, okay. That being said,
we have a more educated look at it.
Well, no, this is literally our rambling thoughts. This is we're prepping for this one a little bit more than we have for previous ones. But this is definitely rambling. We're very tired. Sleep deprived. Long day at an event.
Nice raw thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. While you were playing that, I checked out Moonlighter. Moonlighter, the best way I could describe it is kind of the combat look of the original Zelda, Legend of Zelda. It is the roguelike aspects are very similar to Rogue Legacy, and then it also has it's kind of like the game Reciteer. So it's like so you're a shopkeeper. And you go into dungeon. You go into a dungeon. Essentially, there's 4 dungeons that are open to you. They are different levels of difficulty, as the developer told me straight up. It is a very difficult game. You You explore the dungeons, go room for room. It's every room's thing. You can either fight the enemies in there, or if there's no loot in the room or the doors are open, because doors sometimes close in there, you can just run through, because sometimes enemies are just monster difficult. And that kind of style game. You have different weapons. You could choose between 2 different weapons at a time. You can have them on hand. You could chain link combos with them as well, like a 3-hit thing where you hit with a sword and shield twice, and then switch to your spear, which the starting spear is a broom. And yeah, it's basically that. But so when you die, you lose any items you have that are not on your first level, your first tier of items. You lose those, and you start back over in the dungeon. Or you can go back to town, but you start over. But whatever items you get back, you spend 300 gold to send yourself back to town. And if you don't have the gold on hand, there's a feature you get somewhere later in the tutorial that allows you to sell items on the fly for like 20% their cost. Mm-hmm. You go back to town, you sleep, because there's a day-night cycle kind of thing. The next morning, you can open your shop up. You sell items. They could be literally anything you find in the dungeons. You sell them, and you set the prices. You don't know how much stuff is worth. You find this out by when people go over to it, they're going to have one of 4 reactions. They're going to have a really huge frown face, which means, fuck this is overpriced. They will have kind of a smaller frown face, which means, I guess I'll buy it, but it's a bit overpriced. On the flip side, you have extremely smiling, which means you are underselling the hell out of this. And then there's this like nice, perfect, demure smile, kind of and it's all done with like little quasi emojis above the person's head. And that knows with a regular smile, you've priced it well. You could sell single item, multiple items, and that's your daytime. The shop either closes automatically, or you can close it yourself.
Okay.
You can also store items in case you want to sell something later, or there's also a crafting mechanic in the game. So there's blacksmith and things like that, so you could store stuff for that. People will come in and make special requests, so you can save up your loot so you can make better items, things like that. You'll know ahead of time. The town evolves, the people evolve. The people will actually give you quests as the town evolves to give you more of the story of the land. You can upgrade your house, you can upgrade the village, and all these other aspects. And yeah, it's really cool. It does have an end game. I think the developer said it's about a 9 to 12 hour run.
Okay.
But the dungeons, it's the roguelite aspect. The dungeons change every time. You could spend if you, let's say, come across the boss room, because there's a boss room. But you're like, I am weighed down with loot. I have no health potions. You could transport back to town. And also spend, I think it's like 1,000 gold, and it'll lock that dungeon in place.
Okay.
So that you can then, stock back up in the next morning, go back and take it on again.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, it's really neat, and there's no leveling system. Your leveling system is you buy new armor, you buy new weapons. That's how you level. So it's very skill heavy, very rolling heavy, and I'm not good at it. I was a special level of bad at this game, let me tell you. But I really liked it a lot. It's something I really want to keep an eye out on.
Cool.
I think that's really.
Yes. I watched Total War Arena played.
Yeah,
interesting. Like it's multiplayer. Well, I guess Total War games are multiplayer, but this one's like it's the big battle, but just like multiple players. Everyone has like their own unit on your team. The demo I saw showed a guy it's during a Spartan era, so I had Leonidas, and he's actually guarding something's kind of like the hot gates. He sat there and held it that area for a long time, something like that. So everybody has to do their own part in this battle.
Gotcha.
And you're pretty much fighting down to the last man or capture all the points. It looked interesting. I actually kind of want to play it now.
That's cool. I've never really done the Total War series myself, but I did watch it get played for a little bit.
So this one's more of a competitive Total War game.
Gotcha.
Other than that, I looked at Dragon Ball Z Fighters again because that game's just pretty to look at. So saw a tournament on that.
Yeah, I swung just for a quick second. I swung also by a Mothergunship. It is a first-person shooter where you go room to room taking down enemies. It has a roguelite aspect to it. I guess there's a nightmare mode that allows the rooms to have shifting variables, but it's very jumping heavy. Mm-hmm. You could for the run you're on, because it's done in runs, you can find pickups that allow you to just jump more and more and more. And it's kind of a bullet hell kind of game, I guess it would be the way I could kind of describe it. First person bullet hell kind of thing, but you can upgrade your gun. Think essentially you just have a basic gun, and then you can add a socket on it, and then that socket can add another barrel, and then you can add other power-ups and stuff, and you could build a gun that is this big honking monstrosity that then actually does look like that in the game, like to the point you could build guns that take up your whole screen, you can't see shit. But the bigger the gun, the more energy it uses, and you can level up your energy through successive runs and stuff like that. But like early on, you can end up like me with a gun that has 2 miniguns, a shotgun barrel, a laser barrel, a flamethrower, and a grenade launcher, and pretty much it fires like 2 shots.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And then you can also end up with a gun in your left hand that. But it was a lot of fun. I wasn't able to see it last year, but I saw it this year, and it was a really cool game. It's gonna be PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and fast frenetic if you like that kind of style. And I don't usually go for that kind of game, but like it's one of those ones I'm like I could see playing this.
Gotcha. Oh.
The final thing of the event was just a really cool thing. I got to do an interview with Jason Docton of the founder of Anxiety Gaming. And he was I can't wait to actually like edit this because it might be one of my favorite interviews I've done.
It was a good interview.
We run a show called Mental Health Breakdown. He was supposed to be on the show as our guest for a live stream, but as anyone who's watched our Twitter knows, Signal sucks.
Yeah, Signal sucks. Everybody's fighting for Signal right now. So it looks like you have 5 bars, but you don't. Yeah,
everyone's fighting for it, and it's not even just everyone's fighting for it. Seattle's Signal, I just don't even think is that great in the first place. Yesterday, I know I could barely get a signal, and there weren't that many people around.
Yeah.
So in the convention hall or anywhere near it, just trying to get Twitch to load was hell. But we decided to record essentially a special mental health breakdown interview, and it was a really cool thing. I cannot recommend watching that enough, especially if your person suffers depression and anxiety. And then also just check out anxietygaming.com for more information if you need help. Any other thoughts on day one? Because I think the camera's about to shut off in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's all I got. I played Final Fantasy VR and went fishing, but
yeah.
Just a lot of things we played, but just kind of like her.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, we're just kind of trying to do these a bit shorter, so you're not sitting through an hour and a half to try to find your stuff. If there's something you really want more information on, we may talk about it on the podcast Monday night. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, though this video is actually going to probably go up after that, so that's a pointless piece of information for you. But you can check out that podcast when it goes live, constantcalibrating.com on Friday. Otherwise, I think that's it for day one. We're going to try to hit up some parties and stuff like that, so we'll have more information on that on a later video. But for myself, Josh, and Justin, we bid you a good sign-off.
Bye.
See you for day 2.